Texas. To outsiders, we are just cowboys and horses, but we all know that Texas has the biggest, most beautiful cities in the world, from the state capital of Austin to the busy highways in the large city of Houston. Or maybe you might be in the history-enriched city of San Antonio. Possibly you're in the greatest one of them all, Dallas, Texas. Point is that no matter which corner of this great state you are in, you're covered under the sombrero of coverage with a true Texan. Northwest Insurance Agency. Call us today for sombrero-style coverage from the best in Texas.
This is the On the Pony Express podcast, part of the On3 network. Check out all the SMU coverage you need at ontheponyexpress.com. Now, here's your host, Billy Embody.
1, 2, 3, let me go.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the On the Pony Express podcast. We're presented by our friends at Northwest Insurance Agency. I am Billy Embody. Thanks for joining us. Lots to get to. We're going to have our 4 special interviews. They decided to pair up for Cinco de Mayo and do the 2 linebackers, Alexander Kilgore and Zakye Barker, and then Trey Wilson, defensive lineman, and running back Derrick McFall. We'll have those for you later in the podcast, but do want to drop some tidbits on this podcast as we get closer to the end of a week, and we are in the midst of key recruiting season for SMU and some major recruiting updates rolled in, of course, this week as new official visits have been set and the staff has got out on the recruiting trail to see some of those top prospects. And if you want the full breakdown and kind of the scoop on where they're at, new offers going out, make sure you head over to ontheponyexpress.com. Subscribe for just $1. We just added a new staff member, a recruiting reporter, Josh Butler, who joins us as a part of the Rivals on 3 acquisition. And that's really exciting. So it just means more content for you guys. And one of the guys that he is working on an update on right as I'm recording this part of the podcast and should be up on the site here momentarily. But SMU is now in the thick of it for another 4-star wide receiver and one of the best in the country, as Jaden Warren has locked in an official visit to SMU. And down in South Texas, one of the top overall collections of talent is starting to really show here at Iowa Colony, down there in South Texas, or way down there. And Carson White, the 2027 quarterback, is one of SMU's top overall targets in that class. But he's got one of the best wide receivers in the country catching passes for him, and that's Jaden Warren, who, as you can see here on tape, can really take the top off of the defense there, working out of the slot. But he's got some size to him, so he's set to officially visit SMU June 6th. He'll visit TCU the week before, Houston the week after SMU. Nebraska, Texas A&M, and OU round out the run of visits. Notre Dame is also in the mix there. But those are his 6 visits he's got set. Number 118 overall prospect in the country, 18th wide receiver, 18th recruit in the Lone Star State. Really highly thought of. He averaged 23.6 yards per catch, so big playability. And funny enough, he's at the high school that the Under Armour Houston camp was held at. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, so it's kind of funny. You see yourself somewhere, and then you're like, "Oh wow, I recognize that place." 26 receptions, 613 yards, 14 touchdowns. So made heck of a good job on the opportunities he had with that big yards per catch. He also led Iowa Colony to the Texas 5A Boys State title in the 4x1 and 4x200 record-setting teams. Iowa Colony running the fastest time in the country this year. He also owns a 10.23 100-meter dash this year. Crazy. As a sophomore, he won bronze in the 100 and 200. So elite speed here. And SMU has been in the mix here, has been working on him for a minute now. So they'll get him on campus for later this summer to try and really, again, make a statement in this recruitment. You've got Aljor Miles. You have Xavier Barnett committed. You're working on DeQuaine Prevost in the slot. You've got Chris Stewart on the board. You've got some other guys that they're kicking the tires on. But, I mean, this is probably the fastest guy that they're after, I would say, at least verified times. So we'll be keeping a close eye on this, as he has now locked in that official visit. And for SMU, things just keep rolling in the right direction here. You know, they continue to build some momentum as they continue to have buzz around them, you know, sitting in that top 15 range of the most of those pre-season or way too early lists. Recruits see that. Recruits see the buzz around this program. Recruits see Kevin Jennings on campus for 25, 26. And being in that position to potentially come in and play with a, you know, right now, dark horse Heisman Trophy contender and a guy getting odds is exciting for these wide receivers. And I think that's playing a role in it. They see SMU signing a Ty Hawkins, a 4-star quarterback who's already in the backup role behind Kevin Jennings. And so when you look at these wide receivers SMU's after, they're in good early position on a lot of these top targets that they still have out there, and they're working to get them right, you know, right in that wheelhouse of being able to commit. And so that's exciting news for SMU. I do want to remind you guys, one of our sponsors on the site is Ames Collision Center on Mockingbird down there nearish Love Field. If you haven't checked them out, get some more information on them, because you're able to save some money when you mention On the Pony Express on your repairs for your car when you bring it into Ames Collision Center. 469-661-3506 is where you can reach them. Ames Collision Center. We're really excited about them partnering up with us. And you can go to amescollisioncenter.com. The link is in the bio of this episode, and set up an appointment today. They specialize in European vehicles, but they can help you really get your car looking brand new. They have some before and after pictures on their website that are really important. So make sure you check them out. Ames Collision Center. Get your car looking right for the summer if you've been in an accident. We've had some people reach out to them and go through the process with them, and it's been really enjoyable. So check them out if you need them. We haven't mentioned them on the podcast, so they sponsor the site, but do want to throw them a shout out every now and again, of course, on the website. Look, I do want to get to our first interview of the Cinco de Mayo celebration that we had at Manny's Tex-Mex right there on Mockingbird, the Lakewood location. Again, say queso, queso, and they'll say, of course, thank you, and give you your 10% off your food bill at the restaurant. That's good for dine-in or takeout, but you got to order through Manny's. It doesn't work on the third-party app. So go experience one of the best, if not the best, skinny margarita in the DFW area. Talked to a lot of people at the event that were enjoying those, and have had one myself. Very, very good, and just a great kickoff to summer. The patio at all 4 of their locations is a place to be. So make sure you check them out, whether it be Mockingbird, whether it be Coyton Campbell, Saxe, or Rockwall Heath. Is a great, great spot. And so make sure you check them out and, support them. So without any further ado, let's go to our first interview with SMU linebackers, Alexander Kilgore and Zakye Barker, as they kind of broke down what spring was like, as they're both on opposite ends of the spectrum. You've got Alexander Kilgore talking about him stepping into this role, and then you've got Zakye Barker stepping in as a new transfer from East Carolina. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Sound is it was loud in there, but I think I got it to a point where you guys can hear it just fine. So enjoy this interview with Alexander Kilgore and Zakye Barker. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us at Manny's Tex-Mex. We are here doing our live edition of the On the Pony Express podcast. I am Billy Embody, happy to be joined by 4 SMU football players today that you guys are going to hear from on this Cinco de Mayo. And so thank you guys for being here. We are here celebrating, but we're leading off with Alex Kilgore, linebacker, Alexander Kilgore, and Zakye Barker, 2 guys on opposite ends of the spectrum of their SMU careers. So we've got Alexander, we've got Zakye. These 2 guys played a lot together in spring this year, starting things out. And look, I wanted to have you guys up here together because you guys are going to be on the field a lot together. And so let's start with this. I want to hear from you guys what was the most surprising thing about playing with each other, and what was maybe the biggest adjustment. Because you've been here a while now, Alexander, and Zakye, you're coming in here from East Carolina, starting your career, and it's a new scene for you guys this season. So what was your initial thoughts on spring and how it went?
My initial thoughts, I didn't think he was as loud as he was. When he made a play, he's jumping up and down, screaming at everybody, and I didn't think he was going to do that at all. The biggest hurdle was playing with him was seeing how he communicated with everybody else and trying to get on the same level as him so we could be on the same level with the defense.
For me personally, I feel like the most surprising thing about playing with Alex is he's a very animated guy. Like, when he's trying to get you lined up, he's real animated, real over-animated. He's trying to get you lined up, trying to get everybody on order. And he know that, too, because I got him. But I feel like the biggest adjustment, like he said, was just communication and making sure that we trust each other and know where each other is at all times, and making sure we all got the same call. And sometimes over-communicating, that's one thing he'll do is over-communicate to me so I know where I'm supposed to be at. He just want to make sure I don't get yelled at by Coach Crum, so he be having my back sometimes. So,
Kilgore, how much did you have to spend time on Zakye? Or was he quick study, quick learner, really able to pick it up right away, compared to, maybe a younger guy coming in like maybe a Booker last year from the high school ranks?
Zakye played a lot of ball, so he kind of knows how to look at things and how to break the playbook down. So it really wasn't a lot of getting together with him. It was more of building a relationship with him so he can trust me. And so there'd be times when I was just going to the facility thinking it was just going to be me and he's in there watching film too. So then we'll sit there and we'll be there for another 3 hours watching film together, breaking down the splits, the guards, the quarterback, running back, everything. Just spending 3 hours and I look at my phone, it's like 9 o'clock. I'm like, man, I got to go home and go to sleep. But yeah, he's a quick learner. He knows the playbook and he knows how to break the playbook down. So that's been good.
Zakye, we talked to you before spring, like the day before spring started, and you hadn't really gotten out there yet, but you had been here for the semester, studying up, getting ready. How did spring ball compare to your expectations back when we spoke, right before spring got going?
I mean, I would say it pretty much met the expectations as far as how much I would be able to grow and learn and all the detail that would go into it. Pretty much it's what I thought I was getting myself into, especially being in such a room that is as vocal as it is, in such a room that's as much leaders that we have in that room, and then dealing with Coach Crum and how he wants to push us all to be better. It was kind of what I knew I was getting myself into. Everything they told me coming in, that's what I got. So I can expect what I got.
Kilgore, you've been here from the get-go. Can you believe it's been you're going on your third year already? What's it like for you to have come in? You started your first game as an SMU Mustang, and you've achieved so much success both as a team and personally together on the field with your teammates. What's this ride like for you, and now knowing you're kind of that guy, that next up in this linebacker room?
It's crazy that this is my third year. Like, it's crazy. I tell my mom almost every other week, I can't believe I'm graduating in December. As being that guy, I don't think I'm that guy. I think Coach Crum pushes me a lot, and I think my teammates, fellow linebackers, everybody, Trey and McFall, we all push each other, and there's no singular like that guy. Like, of course I want to be that dude. Of course I want to win the Dick Buckets Award, right? But we all push each other so much where there's not just one guy, and it's a hierarchy. We're all pushing each other, striving for greatness every single day in, day out.
Zakye, and this isn't to talk about your previous school at East Carolina in any sort of way, but when you look at the culture at SMU, and especially as a defense as a whole, and what Coach Simons, down to Coach Crum, Coach Hunley, Coach Tibbs, Coach Dunham, all those guys, everybody involved, has put together from a culture standpoint, it is very much just do your job, and we're going to be successful as a group. I mean, you look, Elijah last year didn't get his AAC or ACC recognition that people would have thought. How common do you see that when you talk to people around the country, other players around the country, that type of a cohesion to do your job and focus on what's the task at hand is to achieve the success as a whole?
I mean, I feel like the main focus here is what can each one of us do to constantly get better. We all on we all got one goal in mind. And so when you see a group of guys who have one goal in mind and we all are aiming for the same thing, you see a group of guys who run faster, a group of guys who are hungrier. So I see a really hungry group of guys in what we have right now. And the way that we work inside of scripted workouts and outside, like you said, in time where we're not even supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? That's way more common here. So, I mean, that's one thing I can say for sure. We're running fast just because we all want it. We all trying to get to the same place at the end of the day.
We're visiting with Alexander Kilgore and Zakye Barker on Cinco de Mayo at Manny's Tex-Mex, and we appreciate them being here. All of you guys, you've been here from getting recruited as an AAC program. You saw SMU and were a part of SMU going to that championship, winning it. Then you come into that 2024 campaign, new kids on the block in the ACC, achieve the success you guys did. But let's talk about the crowd in Ford Stadium and on the hilltop. You probably went on some visits when you were like, all right, it's family and friends. What was it like playing in Ford this year right up the road?
This year was crazy. I remember running out against the BYU game, and I couldn't hear myself think. And I haven't experienced that at Ford Stadium until that moment. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that keeps supporting us, and may you please keep supporting us. It means the world to us. The difference is absolutely stunning, amazing, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
You grew up here in Texas. What's your go-to with Tex-Mex? What's your order tonight?
Chicken quesadilla, sweet tea.
All right, good. Yeah, good call. We'll leave the Cinco de Mayo specials on the drink menu for others. Zakye, since you've come to Dallas, what's been your favorite food? Have you been properly introduced to the Tex-Mex scene?
I actually have not. This is kind of my first introduction, so I'm going to see what we can do here.
Awesome. And lastly, for both of you guys, looking forward to the offseason with Sean Griswold in the weight room, or maybe not looking forward to as much. I know you guys both embrace the work, but what are some of the things you are focused on this offseason?
Lateral movement, strength, drops, speed, anything that can go in a linebacker play, that's what I'm focused on. Anything that my weakness on, like I want to be a well-rounded player, communication, alignment, everything that can take me to the next step, that's what I want to focus on.
Zakye, what about you?
I mean, for me, it's mostly just getting adjusted to the playbook still. I want to be able to know it like the back of my hand. So that's the biggest thing for me right now. And as far as on the field play, like you can never stop working on your footwork, clean up your first step and things like that. And then how I maneuver contact on O-linemen and things like that. I mean, I can go all day, to be honest, because I feel like I have a long list, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I got a lot to work on, but I'm ready for it. I mean, I got this guy with me. We're gonna go to work.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here, guys, and we appreciate your time. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Zakye and Alexander. It kind of gives you a feel for the SMU defense, their mindset, this mindset of competition, mindset of coming in not really worried about stats, tackles, all of those things, letting it all take care of itself. And I think that's really cool. I think that's an overall sign of the culture that SMU has put into place. I was having a conversation with a source earlier today and just talking about how recruiting has kind of gone for SMU, where it's that balance of you want guys that certainly look the part for NFL, that look the part of the measurables and all of the athletic traits that you look for over the course of a high school prospect's career. And you try to find those guys that can obviously make it to the NFL because that helps your defense. But you need really good college players too. And if you look at Alexander, I mean, he is, just looks the part of somebody who can end up being a guy who plays in the NFL. And Zakye is kind of in that mold of an Ahmad Walker and a Kobe Wilson, who have been a little bit more of that, college football star type of player. And, you've seen a Jonathan McGill who doesn't necessarily have the NFL measurables, or you've seen, there's the rare Elijah Chapman who, at 5'10" or so was able to break into the New York Giants this year. But you really need to find that balance of guys who can play college football at a very high level and also guys that can have that shot at the NFL. And so SMU right now is made up of a lot of, especially on the defensive side, really good college football players that have that type of a physical makeup. There are a couple guys that certainly
will wow NFL teams eventually with their athleticism or their size or their physical traits. But SMU is built on the back of players that can play at a really high level in the college ranks. And that doesn't always mean being the biggest, fastest, strongest, longest, whatever type of player. You've got to have your Zakye Barkers and you've got to have your Alexander Kilgores complement each other. So really excited about those two on the inside of that SMU defense running the show from the linebacker unit. I think this SMU defense as a whole has a lot of different pieces that Scott Simons is going to have a lot of fun playing with this fall. It's going to look a little different personnel-wise for SMU, both on offense when you look at the tight end room and on defense when you look at some of the players that they have and pieces you can kind of move around. It's going to be really intriguing to see how the defense takes this next step for SMU this season without some of those E-Robs and Jared Harrison Hunts and, players like that were so key and true NFL type of players athletically, and physically. They're going to have to get a lot from these players that they have, and we'll see how it goes. That's why they pay Scott Simons the big bucks, and he's done it at a really high level for a long time now. So SMU's in good shape there. They're also in good shape with the running back room and Derrick McFall and Trey Wilson. We'll hear from them in just a moment as Derrick, goes through the spring as 1A, 1B with Chris Johnson Jr. They bring in TJ Harden, the UCLA running back. They'll bring in Jermico Green this summer as well. And then you've got Trey Wilson, very versatile defensive lineman who could end up playing a little bit of everything for SMU on the D line. And we'll hear from them in just a minute. But do want to hit some other recruiting notes, but I also want to remind you guys about our friends at StatusJet, statusjet.com. Reach out to them today and work on the trip of a lifetime for you. StatusJet can fly you from point A to point B. They can also handle other aspects of your trip and make it the trip of a lifetime. And I think that's really exciting for folks to go into an experience and know you're going to get that quality care and attention that you'd expect. And you get the discount when you mention ontheponyexpress.com. So reach out to them today, statusjet.com, and schedule your trip for the summer and make sure it is a memorable one with family, friends, or even doing a work trip. It's worth it when you book with StatusJet. No membership fee, no fat up front, payment down to secure a membership. It's just great attention to detail and good people running the show over there at StatusJet. So support them as well for us. So appreciate it. This is a really interesting time of year for SMU. They've got to be able to go out and hit those 2026 targets that have official visits coming up, but they also have to get out and do some 2027 recruiting. And SMU was out to see two of their top targets overall on the board this week. And I wanted to highlight these two because they are such a big deal. One, Jaquan Snell out of Waxahachie. Scott Simons was by to see him, the number one safety in America. He's constantly been on SMU's campus. He's constantly been a player that has swung through the hilltop. And I think the pitch is really hitting home. I talked with him after his junior day visit, and he is really high on SMU and what they could do for him and how he'd fit in the defense. I think this is Isaiah Wacobia 2.0 if they can get him. He just picked up a Georgia offer this week. Other programs are rolling through and offering him, but he's a really, really talented player that SMU has gotten out in front of well in a good I don't want to call it healthy lead because I don't know if they lead. I don't know where exactly SMU stands in his recruitment for him because it is so early. I really try not to bother kids with that, but SMU has done such a good job here early on. You've got to feel good about where things stand for them early on. And you hope that with another strong year and another productive year from the safeties, you've got to be feeling like this is a player that you can attain and you can get when you look at like the overall trajectory of this program defensively. And that's why Scott Simons is putting in so much time with him. That's why this staff has had him on campus as much as they can. And then they also are recruiting his quarterback. They're recruiting Jerry Meyer III, one of the best quarterbacks in the country out of Waxahachie, who's coming off a solid season in 2024. They've had him on campus a couple times now. He was in town. I say in town. He made the drive up for spring practice. He was also there for one of the first junior days. He's got some of the top programs in the country coming after him. And so that would be a really good 1-2 punch out of Waxahachie if SMU can land him. But SMU is also recruiting another and multiple 2027 quarterbacks. We talked about Carson White on the outset, Jaden Warren's quarterback out of Iowa Colony, but Derrick King was by to see Malachi Ziegler, who's been on campus for SMU multiple times, top 100 prospect in the 2027 class out of Benton, Louisiana, and has really been, I think, somebody who really impressed me a lot this spring at Under Armour Dallas. He was able to get to that camp and really put on a nice showing. I think his arm talent really jumped out at me this time that I saw him. I've seen him early in his career when he was younger, and he's just really been somebody that I think has grown up physically. He's a lot bigger than he was, and he's really rising into this upper echelon quarterback. And Baylor and Texas Tech have done a nice job recruiting him early on. Mississippi State is doing well, and he's also checked in at USC and Texas A&M. He is getting recruited like one of the top quarterbacks in the country. So you're seeing that. I still think he's somebody that SMU has really positioned themselves well for early on. And if Derrick King could pull this one off, you're really looking at a nice like pecking order again. SMU lost some of that with Keldrick Luster going to Texas State. And then, of course, Tyler Van Dyke, by the time Malachi Ziegler would be on campus, is gone. So then you have Ty Hawkins, and he's probably stepping in, if all goes to plan, at the quarterback position and taking that over from a Kevin Jennings in all likelihood, which is a really great situation. That's what you want. You want your high-end quarterback to step in. You have Cole Leinert in the 2026 class, and he can compete for that job. And then you have Malachi Ziegler if you can get him. So SMU is shooting high at the quarterback position, and the nice thing is they do know how to play around in the portal. If at that point down the line, SMU isn't able to get a high-end quarterback, they could bring in a portal quarterback at that point. So to compete and provide depth. So I think this is a really exciting time, just watching the recruiting trail unfold for Rhett Lashley and the staff. They've really done a good job of continuously trying to up their game and put them in a stronger and stronger position each year. And I think we're seeing that over the course of this recruiting period. You notice the names they're going out and seeing, and you're saying, okay, all right, that's a guy that's been on campus. That's a guy that's been multiple times for a spring ball practice, or they've been out to see him in the past, or catch a game this fall or something like that. So I just think they're really hitting on all cylinders. This is the product of having a program that has kept its entire coaching staff, for the most part, pretty intact over the last 2 years. Very little movement. It's a really good situation for SMU, and you're seeing that with some of the recruits that they're bringing in for official visits in this 2026 class, and also looking ahead to 2027. So, look, that's pretty much it. I really want to make this about the interviews with our friends over at Manny's. With this last interview, we teamed up with Trey Wilson and Derrick McFall to do it. We really appreciate Manny's for hosting us. Do want to remind you guys as well about our friends at the Thomas Auto Group. Make sure you head up 75 to McKinney. Check out their dealerships, Ford, Subaru, Volkswagen. Learn about the Thomas Promise. Get employee pricing on new and pre-owned vehicles when you mention ontheponyexpress.com. So check out the Thomas Promise, and we'll be right back with our interview with defensive lineman Trey Wilson and running back Derrick McFall.
At Thomas Auto Group, the Thomas Promise includes the low price promise,
the pre-owned promise,
and the 72-hour exchange promise.
And finally, the 100% customer satisfaction promise. So shop Thomas Auto Group today, home of the Thomas Promise.
We're gonna go a little offense defense special here. Very, very different from our last duo that was up here. And as we continue on the Pony Express podcast, we're here at Manny's Tex-Mex on Cinco de Mayo. We've got two SMU Mustangs here. We've got running back Derrick McFall, Agent Zero, joining us, and Trey Wilson, newly transferred into SMU. Trey, what's your nickname? Let's start with that. You have one as cool as Agent Zero?
No, it's called me Trey.
No, I don't have a nickname either. That's okay.
He called me Trey Ball.
Okay.
He called me Trey Ball, yeah.
Trey Ball?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
like a
We'll
three.
go. Do you like it?
Yeah,
Or
it's cool.
you hoping
Nah,
for
that's
something
cool.
else to
Nah,
work?
it's cool. I like it. It was natural.
Okay.
A nickname should just be given to you.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed. Now, Derrick, did you appoint yourself Agent Zero?
Yeah, that's my name. That's gonna stay my name.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's start with you, Derrick. You come in as a freshman last year. You see some time. You get that little taste. How much was going from that high school where you did it all? You were running back, wide receiver, quarterback, played defense, played kick return or punt return. You didn't come off the field for Tyler High. You come into that last year, probably an adjustment. But how much was some of that success you experienced on the field, especially in ACC play, that kind of like carrot that it was like, all right, I'm back, I'm addicted to this again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Coming out of high school, I mean, it was very challenging coming out of high school, having to compete, earn my weight. So playing under Brashard Smith, I feel like it helped me in the long run, being the person I am now, athlete I am now. So I feel like it's great.
Trey, you've been on the radar for a long time here in the DFW area. How cool is it for you to be back home? What's the first few months like? I know you weren't far, but we're not going to talk about that. But what's it like now being back home?
No, it was good. I think it's kind of ironic. I didn't think I would be back when I entered the portal. It was probably one of the last places I would figure myself end up at. But when the opportunity just like represented itself and new situations and new standards and new people, I figured I should have come check it out. So it was the one and only place I came to out of the portal and visited. So I figured it was home right after that, and I made it official. I was in the portal for like 3 days. So
I see your family around practice all the time.
I live here. I'm like 20 minutes away. So
Yeah, are they in meetings? Are they helping you get
well,
weights off the rack?
my little brother's in a meeting actually because he's getting recruited by them too. I have twin brothers.
Okay.
They're 16 now. They're going to be juniors, so it's cool to see.
Are they a lock? Should we put the pick in now? No pressure.
No,
I'm just
you're
kidding. Derrick, when you came to this offense, what were some of the key things you had to learn, and where do you feel like you are in picking up some of those key things? Are you a master of your craft right now, or are you obviously everybody can get 1% better every day, but where are you at with some of those key things?
Coming in, the game is faster, physical, everybody physical. So now I feel like last year playing with the older guys, like getting in there, getting the reps, getting consistent with it, I feel like it molded me to the player I am today. So I feel like having Kilgore and him right here, they push me every day to be the best player I am. They play defense. So it was hard. It's challenging, fast, physical. So I adjusted to that very well. As a player I am today, I feel like I'm doing good. I just keep improving and getting better.
To go off of that, the defense last year, what you had to face in practice. I know spring is very different, and the team is still coming together and all of those things. But what was it like in practice last year, going against that group that was so successful, especially stopping the run?
Our defense, I play like the back of their hand because we run against them every day, so they see it every day. So it's very hard, So it's hard. Kilgore know every run, every check down. So it's fun though. It's fun.
Trey, when you got to SMU, what was the adjustment like from the playbook side of things? Was it vastly different from Coach Aranda? And I mean, he's a very good defensive coach in his own right. So
Well, it's honestly 2 different conferences too. So the Big 12 is like heavy run, play action. Coming to the ACC, it's a lot of pass. So Simon's just teaching a lot of just get upfield, and he's really letting you play and just be free. That's what I was looking for when I came out of the portal. So I feel like I've really made strides in just being able to be myself as a player and get after the quarterback and play fast and see ball, get ball.
did the role that you were brought in, what's that like? Because I feel like you can kind of play up and down the line. Did you experience some of that in spring, or is it, hey, learn this and then we'll branch out?
It's kind of been a mixture of both.
Okay.
Baylor with the 3-3-5, I'm familiar with the inside, and being here back at SMU, I've been able to play a lot of 5-tech now, which has been really good. Just being able to have variation, just where they see fit during the week it's different packages for different stuff. So it's been really good being able to do both.
And Derrick, now what's been the focus for you this offseason? Because we talked to Alexander a little minute ago about being the guy. You've got options in that running back room. but all of you have different skill sets. What's your mindset been like? There is no Bouchard. There is a lot of change in your room, but the opportunity is there to be taken as well.
I'm just looking at it like a great opportunity to showcase my name. All the Jeremiah Smiths and Ryan Williams out there. Let me make that name for myself. SMU and put Dallas back on the map. So my spring, I just came into with a positive mindset and being that guy like Bouchard last year, doing that times 10. So yeah.
I don't think we can talk about specific names, but when you signed with SMU, you were, the guy at Tyler, and you had a bunch of younger guys, and you said that you wanted to set the tone for guys from Tyler to start coming back to SMU. And where do you feel like you're at with that? And what's the feedback you've gotten from your guys back at Tyler and watching you kind of get the opportunity you are now?
It's some guys at Tyler right now. I'm trying to get them here, start the tradition, Tyler coming to SMU, and just putting our city on the map, basically. So that's really what I'm trying to do, keep Tyler rolling.
And Trey, with your skill set, where do you feel like your strengths are, and why did you feel like this was such a good fit at SMU with your skill set, your talent, production, to fit into this defensive scheme and then be able to take it to the next level?
I feel like this team already had a good group of pass rushers, and I do that myself, but being able to add the run game into it, I feel like it was a big piece they were looking for, and I'm well happy enough to do that. I like playing the run. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm embracing that role and doing what I need to do on the other end and getting to the quarterback as well. Second in America for sacks, so just trying to add on to that this season.
What are your goals this summer? With Coach Grizz, what's the conversation been like around what he wants to see from you to get ready for this season?
Maintaining weight, keeping it on, getting faster and stronger, of course, is the same stuff, but working the little muscles and keeping them intact, especially during the fall. As the season goes on, just keeping your muscles and everything the same as the beginning of the season, which is hard, but you always have to do hard things if you want to see success from it. So.
You were recruited here, obviously, coming out of high school. Different program, different times. What have you seen from SMU as somebody who's been far, but also been coming up through the high school ranks and to now? Was this kind of the vision that you could have seen for SMU, or is it still like, wow, I kind of can't believe it?
I think being in Dallas, everyone knew it could have happened. There's too many resources and too many good people for something like this not to happen. It's just a matter of who was in the building at the time to do it. But I didn't have any doubts about this place being what it is now.
What's it like in the running back room, the competition with you, Chris Johnson Jr., you add TJ into the mix, you got Jermico coming in this summer. What are all the personalities like? What's kind of all the skill sets? What do you guys see when you turn on the tape of yourselves?
Everybody in the running back room right now, all speaks through fast, so it's very nonchalant, chill in our room. We're the chillest running back position group in America, I'd say. So it's really chill in our room.
Does that allow you to kind of go out and just do your thing? The way you guys are wired, there's not maybe an overarching amount of pressure on you, even though you guys have to be those guys for SMU this year.
Yeah, it's good, so our running back room, it gives us the freedom to release ourselves, be free, we got a great bond in our running back room actually, so we just have fun every day. Our coach is very chill, Coach Cook, Coach Foster, they very chill, they don't trip, so it's very chill, nonchalant. Yeah.
Trey, what are you most looking forward about being home in Dallas for the season? You got how many tickets you got to handle? You got requests already for a certain game in early September.
I think just being back home and visiting a high school and seeing games in person, being able to actually be in the stadium now and be the one playing is probably the craziest thing ever, and I enjoy it a lot. So I've been looking forward to that since I've been here.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here, guys. We appreciate you guys joining us, and thanks for doing this. We're looking forward to doing it again. So, all right, everybody, thanks for joining us on the Pony Express podcast. Check us out on theponyexpress.com. Enjoy your Cinco de Mayo at Manny's, and come find me and learn what the words queso means. So catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed those interviews that we dropped for you guys from our friends at Manny's. We appreciate them hosting us for Cinco de Mayo, and we hope you guys enjoyed this On the Pony Express podcast presented by our friends at Northwest Insurance Agency. Make sure you give them a call, reach out to them, and get some clarity on your insurance. 214-352-5656 or info@nwagencies.com to get the lowdown on how your insurance coverage could be approved. Or you can just talk some SMU football, basketball with our friend Mark Villasana. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll be back on Friday. We'll drop kind of our look back podcast on everything I missed since I went over to Europe. And we hope you guys enjoy all the coverage at ontheponyexpress.com. We will catch you guys next time with another edition, and have a great Mother's Day weekend, everyone. But again, we'll talk to you on Friday.
Thanks for listening to the On the Pony Express podcast with Billy Embody. Follow us on your socials on X at SMU_on3 and on Instagram at on3SMU. And keep it locked to ontheponyexpress.com for more coverage.